Hello all. Today we're going to do our first lesson in Google Docs. Today I thought we'd do a pretty fun lesson, something that is a good way for us to start off with copying, pasting, and layering of many objects on top of objects. Now, in Word it's different than what Google Docs does, so we have to change up things just a little bit. So, what we're going to have here is we have our document that you have in front of you, and it's the I love blank and then 314. So that is Pi Day. So we're going to go ahead and do it today so that we can have some of this. The first thing I want you to do when you've opened up this document is to go up here. We're going to rename our document because right now it says lowercase p, lowercase I for pi. So what we're actually going to do here is we're going to go I love pi and then click somewhere off of it, and there you have your title has changed. It's also changed up here in your tabs up here, so it's the I love pi in your Google Docs. Now the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is now I'm going to go ahead and get my objects that I need to complete this document. So I'm going to open up a new tab right up here, and then I'm just going to type pi for pi for the mathematical symbol. As you can see, the pi value pops up, and I'm going to go to images. And when you go to images, your first image here, and it may be a little bit different, but it should be something that looks a lot like this pi image. So what I'm going to do is click on it, and it opens up, and yes, this is the image that I want for pi. I'm going to go ahead and right click, then I'm going to go down to save image as. I'm just going to wait a minute, it's running a little slow. And it's got pi symbol, so I know it's pi symbol. And what you guys will be able to do on your Chromebooks is save it directly to your folders in there. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to save it into my downloads. Make sure that when you do yours that it's not in your downloads folder, that it is actually in your classroom IT, and then it is in your Google Docs folder. And then in the Google Docs, you should have made a folder that we talked about called Pi. So you're going to put it in there, and I'm going to go ahead and save this. And then what I'm going to go ahead and do here is then what I'm going to do is do a search for actual pi. What I like to do is I like not the whole pies. I like to get a slice of pie. So I'm going to go ahead and click on coconut. I want to see what kind of coconut pie they have for me to go, and I can go through this. I can spend a lot of time going through this and getting just that perfect piece of pie, but I'm not. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to get a piece of pie that's pretty much got a white background to it, and the one pie that I see here that really does that is right here. It's this piece right here. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make sure I save it into my correct folder. I'm going to save image as, make sure the file name's pretty good. Coconut cream pie slice. I'm going to go ahead and put it in my downloads folder and save it. You guys again need to make sure you save it into your correct Google account folder. So then I'm going to click back here to my document. I can actually close this tab out because I don't need it anymore. Now, to insert this into my document, what I have to do is go up here to insert, and then I'm going to go to a thing called drawing. I'm going to click on drawing, and you'll get this window that pops up. It's your drawing window, and right, you got all these icons right up here. The one I'm going to go to is called image. So I'm going to click on image. I'm going to go to where that first image that I want, the background image, which is going to be the pie piece. And what I'm going to do is go to where that is. And you guys will be able to go right into your Google Drive, and it'll be in there. So I'm going to go right into my Google Drive, and I'm going to go into which folder it is, which is Classroom. Then I'm going to go to my Google Doc, Pi, and then I'm going to go to my Pi image, which is right there, and there's the file name. And it takes just a second for it to load. And right there's my pi image. I'm okay with it where it's sitting at, so I'm okay with that. So I'm going to click somewhere else so it stays right there. As you can see, it's right in the correct place that I want it at. Then what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go get my pie piece. Now, right now I don't have that coconut piece right in there. I have several other pieces of pie, so what I need to do is I'm going to actually, you will probably find your pie piece right in there if you put it in the right place. What I need to do is actually choose the image to upload that I just got. I'm going to go to downloads, and then I'm going to find that coconut cream pie piece, and I'm going to open it, and it will load it. And right there it is. Now, as you can see, it's a huge piece. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to cut some of the image down a little bit so that I don't have so much background image on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click. And when I double click, it'll pop up these black vertical lines and horizontal lines. Okay, so what I do is you'll see how my arrow splits, and I can drag it down. You can see there's that almost invisible line, but it's a grayscale line, and what it does is it starts cutting this image down. And I go right over here, do the same thing, and I can do it this way. Oops, I cut a little bit too much, so I can pull it back a little bit. As you can see, I can do it that way, or I can go down to here, and you can see I can grab the corner and I can do it all at once like this, where I've got both my horizontal and vertical lines, and cut it that way. And then I can click off. As you can see, now it's a smaller image. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to click back on my coconut cream pie image, and I'm going to make it smaller. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this so that it fits where it's not a huge piece that covers up the whole pie. What I'm going to do is make this so that it kind of fits over top. As you can see, I'm just putting just a little bit, so it's a little bit bigger than my pie stem here. And then I'm going to kind of make this even smaller so that it does cover this piece right here. So it's got to be a little bit thicker than your thickest piece of this pie right here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, which is a Control C, that's the shortcut, and then Control V, that is the shortcut for pasting. Now I'm going to move it using my mouse and put it right together. Now if you can see, there's a little bit of a line here, and I'm just going to move it, I'm going to overlap it just a little bit so that there's not really that much of a line. Yes, it covers up a little bit of this pie piece, but for the most part it does a really good job, and it covers up all this of the pie. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to again, I'm going to do a Control C to copy, Control V to paste. I'm going to move it right over here. Again, I'm going to make sure there's no, I'm making sure that the pie symbol in the background is not there. I'm going to copy and paste again. And I'm going to kind of lower it just a little bit, because you can see the pie piece itself starts lowering just a little bit. So I'm trying to get it so that it's being a little bit aggravating here, but move it just ever so slightly. So we've lined it up. Then I'm going to copy and paste again. I'm going to drop it just a little bit more. So it's still covering up this pie piece. And I'm going to finally finish it off right here. And so you can see that this pie piece, these pie piece slices have covered up this entire pie right here. Now I got to do the legs of the pie, if you will. Now I'm going to copy here. I'm going to paste. And really you can copy any of the pie pieces, but I just went ahead and the closest one. I'm going to copy and paste. And again, I'm starting to kind of go with the leg. So I'm kind of making these so that they're a little bit off from one another. And now I'm going to really overlap these pieces because of the pure and simple fact that I really have to cover up all the black. If I don't cover up all the black, it doesn't look right. So I've got this all right here. Now, if you wanted this pie piece to be in front of all of them, then you could do a couple of things. One, if I wanted this in the background, all I have to do is hold down Control and my down arrow, and you can see that this piece now overlaps this one, and I can do my down arrow again. Now it's behind this piece. If I did it again, it'd be behind here. If I did it again, it'd be behind my whole piece. Let me show you how, again, I can do this. So I'm just going to copy this piece real quick, and I'm going to move it over here. And I'm going to show you how, if I do Control and down arrow, if I keep on clicking the down arrow, it'll end up going behind this pie. It just took several times of clicking that. But I'm going to go ahead and make sure it stays in front. And what I'm going to do is put it right here. I'm going to have it a little bit off-centered. As you can see, it's behind this piece right now. And again, if I do Control and an up arrow, it now is in front. This is all about layering your pie pieces. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just slightly making it move. I'm going to try to keep it, as you can see, I'm trying to keep it so I'm going to cover up all this black. I want to make sure I cover up all the black. And I'm going to kind of make it start going in. Let this go down. As you can see, there's a little black right here, so I'm going to cover that up. And I'm going to kind of bring this up right here. Maybe make it go down a little bit. There we go. And you can see it's kind of hard to get this, so I'm going to leave. I've got to make this round. Even though these are square rectangle pieces, I'm still trying to make it so that I can make it go around. Copy and paste. I'm going to make it so it's right there. Oops, I got a little bit of black. It's very slight, but still there. And it looks like I need to add one more piece. And put it right like that. So now I have my pie symbol all covered up with pie. So once you've got this finished, you can save and close it. And right now, because my cursor was at here with the eye, it's going to come in right there. Well, that's not where we want it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this, just using my mouse. And you can see it starts following the cursor. And right now I've got it right here. I love pie. And then the 314 is down here. Well, part of what I need to make sure are my margins are correct. So what I need to make sure is right now my pie piece is down below. So what I need to do is go to File, Page Setup, and right now my margins are set at 1 for everything. So I'm going to make my margins, and that's the border that's all the way around your edge of your paper. I'm going to make them all at 1/2 inch, and then what it's going to do is move up my pie piece here, and I still need to get my 3.14 up. So I'm just going to simply start dragging this up. As you can see, it's not locked in, and I'm just going to keep on moving it up until it's right there on the paper, on the page with my pie. Now make sure you don't move it all the way up into the pie. I don't want to do that. I'm going to keep it so that it's right below it, so we can see that it's clearly with the pie right there. And then so now I have I love pie 3.14. And every time that you do something in Google Docs, it just automatically saves. So this document is now saved. So that is our I love pie document. Now, you notice we do have a little bit of a leftover this page right here. All I have to simply do is hit backspace until I get rid of that page, and it's gone. So I've got everything right together, and that is simply how you do this project. Now make sure when you go back to Google Classroom that you make sure you turn it into me so that I can go ahead and grade it. And we want to make sure the way that some of the things I'm looking for is there's not any black area that's that is here in the pie. I don't want to see any pieces of the pie. And I also want to make sure that the 3.14 is not covering any piece or is not being covered. Now if you do look at this and you see that there's pieces of black that's there, what you can do is just simply double click on that pie and it'll open it up back into drawing, and then you can move your pie pieces around so that you can clearly see it. So you just have to click on your pie pieces here, and it will allow you to go ahead and move them around once it pops up. As you can see, it's running a little bit slow this morning, so make sure that you go ahead and you can move the pie piece that you need to, or add additional pie pieces. But this is all that we have. I'm saving it, and then you can see it's right back on my document and exactly the way that I want it. That is it for this lesson.